Well, hello! I'd like to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week, and it's homecoming week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, I'm going to bring up the arrow controversy. Perhaps you have something to contribute. I sure hope you do, because I'm kind of at a loss with that one. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about homecoming. So let's take a look at the pens. I don't know if the A-roll footage is rolling at all. My iPad is getting old and it's being ornery. I think it may be time to start running the camera on this puppy. So I may be doing that next week. We'll see. Because all it's saying is it can't talk to the camera. So the camera's recording. Well, not right now, I don't care, but when I come back, I'll care. Alright, so what I have from left to right, I have from this week's two first impressions, because I didn't publish a review for reasons related to manufacture. I have an Imperial Sparta, which I know absolutely nothing about, but I guess I have time. I have a Rexpen, don't know the model, I just called it green. But on a happy note, several people commented that this was their rather expensive school pen. So I found that excuse me, I think I might be getting hiccups. Found that interesting. Geha Haboy, which is a review I would like to film here pretty quick before it runs out of ink. Another school pen, by the way. An Adlatus, not a school pen, this is a stenographer's pen. I have a Pon Senior, another, you're looking at three in a row there that I want to do reviews of this week. Or film. We'll see when they're published. Pon Senior, because he's almost out of ink. And then Platinum 3776. Oops. Messed that up. A Pelikan 400NN. Oops. And a Pelikan M800. And waiting in the wings, because I'm making decisions on how I'm going to do this. They're not going to be filmed tonight, but I have my two arrow pens, because they're going to be my big topic of conversation tonight. Rescued them from the to-be-washed pile, because I may refilm the review, or I just may refilm part of it. We'll see. I have no idea if this camera is filming or not right now. But, as always, I will be using my Bomo art journal. And last week I talked about my contact with Bomo art journal just recently. So, kudos to them. So let's take a look at how these pens write. My first pen this evening is my Imperial Sparta, which was a first impression, my scheduled first impression this week. Just has a beautiful, like a wood grain pattern, and I don't know if it's celluloid or acrylic. I haven't found very much information about this pen, so I'm going to save that for another day, but after filming that first impression, I was happy to get it inked up again. Its trim ring is loose, so I'm going to work at repairing that before the pen travels too much. Nice little gold nib. It's a smaller pen, but I like it. I think it's appropriate for this time of the year. Even though I live in North Dakota where there really aren't that many trees, I put in, and definitely not very much oak at all, Diamine Autumn Oak. I grew up in Pennsylvania, specifically Potter County, if you know the area, and that's one of the things I miss there, is the hillsides in the fall as the leaves are all changing color. There are trees, I have a few trees in my yard. If they change color here, it's basically to yellow. Oops. Oh, that's unexpected. There we go. It kind of quit right in there for a second. So anyway, I missed that. Fall, it is still my favorite season, but you just don't get the leaves changing color here like you do back east. My next pen was my first impression that I filmed instead of doing my video that I'd planned on the Arrow pen. I called it a Rexpen Green because I really didn't have a model number, and I still don't, but it does have a lovely Bach nib. I put a different ink in it. Last night. So unlike first impressions, usually my reviews and pens in use are filmed after the ink has been in the pen for a while. This is Noodler's Green Cactus Eel. Oops, I think there's an E, how he spells it. Ink I haven't used in a long time. That's one of the things I'm looking at is what inks do I use, which ones don't I use, and why. I don't know why I haven't... Okay, the one reason I haven't used this one is it's not quite my shade of green, not one I love. Not a bad shade of green, just not one I like. So this pen failed the Pierre Gustafson test, so I'm going to do an impromptu Pierre Gustafson test on this paper. Oops, it helps if I aim the nib correctly. So the skipping there at the beginning, my fault. Okay. Failing it, but not as badly as it did in the video. So I think there may be a slight ink starvation problem, but on the other hand, as somebody in the comments on this pen noted, it's not like you write at 100 miles an hour anyway. You know, the way I write this may be a little bit slower. Let's see. Let me just quick write a phrase like I would write, like if I'm just taking notes. Yeah. See, for writing purposes, it is more than adequate. The Pierre Gustafson test isn't really an indicator about writing. The Pierre Gustafson test is an indicator of maximum potential. Kind of like you might buy a, I don't know, what's a sports car? Ford Pro? No, that's a silly sports car. Ford Mustang, there we go, Ford Mustang. So you might buy a Ford Mustang because they're fun and powerful. And, oh, look at all the sporty driving I can do, yeehaw. Not because you're planning to do that kind of driving all the time. Because most driving is just boring. I'm going to work, and I'm coming home from work, and I'm going shopping, and I'm coming home from shopping. You know, that's what most driving is. And, but you know when you want to, when you can get out on somewhere where it's legal to do so, you can really have a lot of fun with that Ford Mustang. So that's what the Pierre Gustafson test is really about. Back to student pens. I have a Geha Boy. I think I turned that really totally off screen because I wasn't looking at the screen. So it has a green finial, which I think is a nice touch. It also has a little switch for when you're at this point, when you're out of ink. So I've got to either refill it or get that review filmed like yesterday. And it does, let's get this out of the way. It does happen to have one of my favorite inks in it. This is De Atramentis. Mint Turquoise. I don't know what my computer's up to. I heard the fan kick on. It's recording sound. It's not working even as hard as my iPad, which still says it can't connect with the camera. So, again, I don't know if we're getting any A-roll footage this time. My Adlatus, which has a fine steno nib. It's actually an Adlatus 302. I guess they were a bigger name at one point in their history. I don't hear about them. I've never seen another one for sale, but I'm sure they're around. So FS refers to fine steno. You might have noticed I rotated the nib slightly. I don't really know why I did that. The ink in it is Iroshizuku. Whoops. Momiji. I'm trying to remember. I feel like that name has something to do with fall. But I can't recall. My next pen is a Pon Senior. Another review I would like to do this week. Almost out of ink. This is a Norwegian pen. And this is actually one of the pens that makes me think of Arrow, wondering why I'm getting two different ideas for the nib, or for the country of manufacture, because Pon is a Norwegian brand, but apparently there's a brand in I want to say Denmark, or was. I don't know if it still exists. And I had a few people correct me when I talked about my other Pon, and they said, no, it's not Norwegian, it's Danish. Two different companies. Alrighty. Oh, wow, I apologize for that. You didn't see anything I just wrote. I've got my mind on the A-roll footage right now, which is the least important part of the video, because I can do this video without the A-roll, but I can't do it without the B-roll. This is my Platinum 3776 with the Yamanaka finish. I put a permanent ink in it for putting addresses on envelopes. So this is a I did a video where I compared most of the nib sizes. I didn't do anything smaller than a fine. They have an extra fine and an ultra extra fine and so on. I don't own those, and judging by my experience with the fine, I really don't want them. So this is a Platinum Carbon Black. They were just, platinum nibs have a bit of feedback. They were just too feedbacky. So if a fine is too feedback, and I love the extra fine, or I'm sorry, I love the soft fine. So if that's too feedbacky, I know I don't want a extra fine or a ultra extra fine. So Platinum Carbon Black is actually a good permanent black because it's one of those nano inks where it has particles suspended in solution rather than dissolved. So it sits on top of the paper and is pretty darn waterproof. This is almost empty. This is, in fact, a lot of the pens you're seeing here tonight are almost empty. My Pelikan 400NN. I just heard from a pen pal today. She emailed me to let me know that the letter arrived, and she described the ink that's in this as very soothing. And I have to agree, it's just, I don't normally go for blues, but darn, it's just nice. And of course, this pen brings out the best in it. If she saw the bottle and tried to fill out of it, she might rethink her opinion. It is a silly design for a bottle. I mean, it looks good, and then you try to fill from it, and you're, my pen doesn't fit. Oh. There is so much ink in the bottle, and I can't get at it with my pen. because it's a heart-shaped bottle, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. And my last inked pen for tonight is the Pelikan M800, which is almost empty. In fact, I didn't think we'd make it through today, but I didn't actually do much writing with it today. So it gets to live another week. If it had run empty, the Lamy 2000 would have pinch hit for me. There's something about the color of this ink, I just really like it. Not exactly blackberry color, but close. You know, not of the blackberries, but of the juice. And you know, the scent really isn't blackberry. Wow, I am just not watching that camera at all tonight. Yeah, I'm thrown off by the fact that I don't know if I'm getting A-roll or not, so I have to make sure I have good B-roll if I have to fill in. And I don't know what's going on. Annoying. I like to be able to fix things. Those are the pens and inks that I've been using this week. We'll get my Instagram shot so I can post early that, yeah, I do have a video. It's just not coming up at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. I should get the squigglies too. There. I'm going to walk off screen for a second because my one visual aid isn't over here. Actually, I watched a video, I don't remember who it was, but somebody walked off screen to get something. It was not a live stream, it was a literal recorded video like this. And so you're sitting there watching whatever their background was while they went and got the thing. You know, live stream, I get that. I've done that. You know, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I drank too much water before this video, or, oh, I could grab you this book, you'll like this, or, you know, that kind of thing during a live stream. But recorded videos, I mean, seriously, if you got to walk off screen, edit it out. All right, so I've got this book called Fountain Pens of the World by Andreas Lambrou. You can find it at various prices. The reason I'm bringing that book up, I have 2 Arrow pens. One is fairly pedestrian. This is the purple one. It's just a very basic writer, steel nib, no flex. Very good steel nib, but not, you know, an exciting one. And then the black one you've seen in previous weeks is quite a good writer. It's very flexible nib, very wet feed, and so on. Nowhere on them is it written their country of manufacture. This one has Unser Beste, which is German. Our best, I think. So I got to thinking, you know, this book organizes pens by their country. Where's my bookmark? Okay, well, I feel stupid. My bookmark fell out, but I got almost to the right place. So I'm in Chapter 6, the Netherlands and Belgium. And what he does is he organizes pens by country. So, you know, here's a bunch of, what are these? Netherlands pens. So he's got some Selectors. Oh, that answers that cut. Oh, and there's a Cora. So Harrow, you know, whole bunch of pens, different manufacturers of the Netherlands. And then he has articles on each manufacturer. And, you know, a big manufacturer, he has a big article. Hey, got something out of this book. Guess where the Sparta was made. But one of the names that comes up here is Arrow. The company had its factory at Ober-Ramstadt. It was the trademark of the firm Valinco in Bussum. I'm butchering the names because I don't speak Dutch. The products were successful in the flipping nerve herders, and the pens are easily found today. The company used both button filler and piston filler mechanisms. These are both piston fillers. The pens were streamlined with an array of cap rings, some with blind cap tassel. The attractive materials included pearl and black marble designs, or light and dark pearl colors. I mean, it's plastic glued on top of black, but whatever. The pens mostly had the trademark Arrow engraved on the barrel, mostly without any other information. That would describe these pens. Although some indicated also the model, for example, the small Arrow Friendship. The Arrow 504 was a typical series available in many attractive designs. Another interesting small pen was marketed specifically as a gift for a child's first communion. So I read that, and I think, okay, it's a Dutch brand. But you go online and start researching it, and most of the sources you find say German. Well, I happen to have an original box for a pen. I don't know if I've shown this video yet. It's a first impression video, but for an Aromatic. And what is this? Made in Germany. Which doesn't mean it's not a Dutch company, of course. It could still be a Dutch company. But, my golly, it's... And then there's this. So that leans me toward German. And, you know, you can't always trust one source. That's why you have to look at multiple sources. And by golly, the clips are a bit different. But such a similar design aesthetic. The Aromatic is a very nice gold nib. It's a very good writer. It matches up well with that Unsa Besta. I mean, we're seeing same kind of feed here. Whoops, that's badly lit. Wow. Well, we'll figure it out later. The nibs look the same. I mean, they've got to be the same company. And I show this in the video, but here I am opening again. Well, that's clearly German language. Hit pause if you want to read it. More German language. So, you know, I don't know enough anymore German to make out all this. I mean, clearly this is about cleaning because it's talking about using water. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I kind of wish somewhere it would have said where this pen was made. So, I'm at a loss. I want to say it's German, but I do find sources like this one that say it is not German. When you go through the Germany section of this book, you don't find Arrow listed. You know, you find a lot of other brands, like, never heard of that one. And you kind of ignore... Oh, ha! Speaking of the Geha that I just reviewed, or showed you, that's cool. That's that switch I was talking about. But, you know, they mentioned some of the other brands, some other minor manufacturers. Arrow, if Arrow exists, it's not it doesn't get an entry. But they mention a whole list of them here, but not Arrow. So, does that mean that this book has a mistake? I don't know, could be. I haven't found any reference to a mistake in this book because I've tried researching that. I really, really don't know. So, a mystery. So before I do my A-roll footage, I'm going to see if I can reconnect camera to iPad. I could not. And the camera quit working. It retracted the lens just as I went to try to reconnect them anyway. Because I had apparently reached my limit of time. Because I know you didn't see a full 30 minutes of me talking there. It's because I did a little trying to get these two to talk to each other before. And, yeah, lovely. So, hopefully this is recording. I did hit... Yes. I did hit the record button. So, I would welcome if anybody knows anything about Arrow. About, is it German? Or does this book have a mistake? I would sure love to know that. If you like eye candy and a lot of pictures of pens and not a detail, but a pretty good level of information about fountain pens and their manufacturers in basically the United States and Western Europe. You know, my weird little interest in Central and Eastern Europe, well, not so much. Asia, actually, Japan gets a mention. I can't think of any other Asian countries that get mentioned. Or, I keep saying if anybody knows of a African fountain pen manufacturer, I'd be interested, or South American, or Mexican. Did order a pen from Mexico once, but it was not a Mexican pen. It was a Eastern European pen, but somehow it ended up in Mexico. But I'm babbling now. In other news, it is homecoming week here. If you're not from the United States, that may mean nothing to you. Do I dare say this? It really means nothing here either, but schools make a big deal out of it, so we'll go with that. It's supposed to be, the team's coming home and they're playing a home game. Well, they do that. We have already had a home football game. We've had several home volleyball games. We had our one home cross-country meet, which was during school hours, so nobody was at it. But, so they just pick a week somehow to be homecoming, and so that week is over with, and thank God. Kids get worked up about it. We're given... Okay, I don't actually know anymore what you're going to see, so I was going to unbutton my shirt and show you its design, but I don't even know what part of my anatomy you're going to see on that lens. I know right now you see my face, so how about I don't do that? Because if I can't see myself, I feel like this could turn very bad. We did a video for fun for Friday for the kids. We had one of our teachers, a very tall teacher who's much taller than me, do like a Ron Burgundy from, I haven't seen the movie, Anchorman. And anyway, apparently the character in the movie is dressed suit and coat and everything up here with just his underpants on. So we had the guy stand up at the end of the video, but he's so tall, his head went out of frame, and it was a very... let's say provocative shot of him moving around, which made sense if you could see the whole thing, but the part that was picked up by the camera, not so much. So we just had him sitting and do one of these. Yes, I'm wearing pants. I'm not Ron Burgundy. So we had to make that more school friendly, let's say. But anyway, it's over. Football game tonight. I am here. What time is it? Yeah, just after 5. So I figured I could get this filmed and possibly edited before I leave, and then get it started upload. Ooh. No, I can't. Well, we'll try. Possibly filmed and edited, definitely filmed, and uploaded to the computer before I leave, and then finish editing and upload the video when I get back, because originally I was going to film after the football game, but one of the reasons I didn't film last night is I was looking for, this Rexpen, which weirdly enough was in my Omos Ogiva box, along with my Pilot Custom 823, a random Noodler's pen, 2 Jinhaos, and what else was in? Oh, a Russian pen. Like, there was no rhyme or reason to this collection of pens being in that box, and the box was under my bed. So what was going on in here? Back in July, when I filmed that, I filmed the video in July. I don't actually know when I cleaned it out. But, what? Why did I do that? It must have made sense at the time. But right now, not so much. And that was quite a nerve-wracking evening, thinking, oh my gosh, did I lose a pen? Not a real expensive pen, but a very nice writer, so I was kind of sad about that. But I found it, along with a box of repair project pens. So when I get some free time here, I guess I'll be doing some more repair work, but definitely don't have lots of free time this week. What free time I have, I'm budgeting out between specifically getting some reviews ahead and getting, my audio's about to go because of the low battery on the computer. So I'm going to wrap this up. We've got almost nothing left. Yeah, 6%. It goes at 5, it shuts off. So, we'll wrap this up. But anyway, I'm going to film some reviews, so I'm ahead on that. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, do you know anything about Arrow? Do you have any homecoming comments? Do you know what's going on in my head when I randomly put a bunch of pens in a box and hide it under my bed? So, I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.